Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new series of Barber vs Barber. I am your host Miguel Gutierrez, also known as the Nomad Barber. Join me on this journey as we put 12 barbers to the test in the qualifying rounds where only 4 can make it through to the semis and make it one step closer to being the overall winner. Up next, a little introduction from our guest judges before we get to know our third round contestants a little bit better. Luke, Hannah and Jack.
What's happening guys, I'm Ken Mehmet, Clipper Ken, owner of Cuts and Bruises Barbershop, been cutting hair since I was 15 years old and we're here to see some talent.
Hey, I'm Kieran Webb, the London Barber. We're here to judge some great barbers here today, so it's going to be fun.
My name's Luke Tipple, I'm a barber from Manchester. I've been barbering now for around, I think 7 years. I was introduced to barbering by a friend. I didn't take like the traditional routes of going to college and being educated that way, which I kind of wish I did in some ways now. But I've worked in 2 shops and I'm currently working mobile now.
I'm Hannah McKnight. I'm a barber. I've been in the hair industry for 21 years. I own a little barber shop in the West Midlands, which I've owned for the last 5 years. Yeah, I've done stage work, but I've not had anybody rip my cuts apart, so it'll be really interesting, but a really good development, I think, as well. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
So my name is Jack Gunner. I'm 21 years old. I've been cutting hair for the last 5.5 years. I just wanted to push myself. I've never really done anything like it, and I'm quite within my comfort zone what I'm doing at the moment. So I just thought, it's something new, and I get critiqued, which, it's good because you can learn from that. So yeah, that's the main reasons why I went for it.
Next up, we're going to hear from each of the contestants to hear a little bit about what they're actually going to be doing with their haircuts. Each contestant will have 45 minutes and they'll have headphones on so they can't hear what the judges are saying throughout. Welcome everyone to our third contest in Barber vs Barber. Thank you for making the effort to come over. I'm Miguel, I think you know that already, and then these are my guest judges who I picked because of their experience both in the hairdressing world and barbering, and the barbering world. I've known Ken for quite a long time too. So we're not just judging you on your barbering and hairdressing techniques, we're also looking at your presentation, your hygiene, your posture, overall finish, and then the styling as well. So with that in mind, do you want to just tell us a little bit about what you're planning on doing today, Luke?
So I'm gonna go, I kind of wanted to do like a bit of a hybrid of haircuts. Like I'm gonna go for like a heavy textured crop on the front, high tapered sides on the temples, and then probably take quite a bit off the back because Alice hasn't had it cut for a while. Yeah, blend it in with a modern mullet.
Nice. What about yourself, Hannah?
So gonna do a mullet. Going to use a lot of texture through the crown area because it's quite heavy through there. Going to retain the length through the back, but use texturing techniques through there just to reduce a lot of the weight. Then we're going to bring this actually up. So going to take a lot of weight out of here so we can blow dry it up and get some height into it.
And Jack?
So what I'm going to do is obviously a crop, as we can kind of tell from how his hair is already, but I'm going to try and bring more emphasis onto the corners. I'm going to do a taper just because I feel we've done skin fades on him before and it just doesn't quite sit right. But to jazz it up, I might add a little something creative through the neckline, something just to spice it up,
Headphones on, you can start.
I think like for this first section here, the hygiene section and the posture and the presentation side of things, I think everyone's been pretty spot on actually. Everyone's hand position, body position and stuff like that has been great. As I said, the barbering side of things, clipper work all looks strong. Everyone's fading techniques have been good and their line work and stuff, and Jack's been doing that nice detail with the trimmer.
Yeah.
Hairdressing wise, I think Jack was great in his first part of it, like the sectioning, but I feel like everyone could have maybe took a little bit cleaner sections or whatever, and the texturizing techniques probably could be upped a little bit. Other than that, I think that everyone's been doing pretty good. The only thing I'm kind of shocked about is Luke's lack of urgency at the 10-minute mark, but he's still going. So,
4 minutes now.
yeah, he's got 4 minutes left and he needs to blow dry still.
I think Jack's shown some really good foundation barbering.
Yeah.
From the taper, the really clean, smooth taper. The sort of texture that he's put into the top and stuff, it's really sort of, it's a modern style, but executed with sort of like an old school take.
Yeah.
I think Hannah's really shown us both hairdressing and barbering.
Yeah.
In one, especially now that she's got the straighteners out and stuff.
100%.
And with all the texture in this very mohawky type of mohawky type of mullet that she's done.
Yeah.
I think that weight on the sides isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
So
No,
again,
that
it's a style thing. So
yeah, that is very on purpose, and
yeah,
it has a strong purpose. You can sort of see it now that why she's done it.
especially the fact that it's like even on both sides and it's been kept there. Luke. Luke, I think, has done a good job at blagging it the whole time, the whole way through. But we'll see. We'll see with the thing.
A lot of us barbers.
We do. Of course, it's a big part of it.
But once he dries this, I think it's going to look mad.
Yeah, let's see.
It's going to look so
That's
cool.
what I mean. Let's see how it comes together.
He needs to dry it.
Yeah.
Right, so should we go score this round?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Let's do it.
What are you thinking? Obviously, like at the start, it looked like he bit off more than he could chew.
Yeah. I think that this is actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
I think it's actually really good. I think every step that we saw sitting over there that looked like he didn't know what he was doing has actually turned into something that's actually quite well structured.
Yeah.
And well thought out. I think he's actually taken the personal style of the client in consideration.
Yep.
With the haircut as well, and almost used that as an influence.
Well, I think that as he went through the first sections, he was working out and sussing out where he was going to go with it, and as he got through later, and he started doing these side areas, he then thought, right, I'm going to take this really short, because to go this height and to have still worked with vertical sections here, it was kind of confusing. I probably would have just put my guideline in and then went straight in with a clipper. But for him, it was all about creating this texture in the back area, which was really important, because now it's dry, it looks epic, and it looks so cool.
What do you think of this?
I like it. It's I like. I mean, it's not a haircut I usually do. Not one we would usually see in the shop. I do like the shape to it. I like that, it's almost a little bit shorter through here than it is through the side. Do you know what I mean? It's got like different lengths, different textures.
Yeah.
That obviously, that wedge was intentional. We were debating over there.
This area for me, from a hairdressing standpoint, looks very blunt, very heavy,
texture, right? Yeah.
but like it works, and it's really cool.
Because it's that like error haircut, like that.
Yeah,
90s
but I also saw her going with the razor, and she was razor cutting this top area, so like holding it and whipping the ends off like that. But I think it looks cool.
It is that really thick, straight hair.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in one haircut, but it kind of works.
Again, yeah, but this is what we were saying about mullets, right? You get like almost 3 haircuts in one, especially with the modern mullets. You're getting a lot of variation in one haircut. But yeah, the texture is very blunt, which I don't know. Personally, probably I would have liked to have seen it a bit softer.
Yeah.
I think it just would have gone well, even if this was still as ridgy as it was.
Yeah.
It would have been cool to see that contrast.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think like Jack said at the front, he kind of made it obvious that it was going to be a crop. You could kind of see that it could only be a crop unless he was going to whack the fringe up. But I think the way he's done the crop is quite different. Where again he's gone high with his base level up here, but then instead of coming up real high and tight like most crops do, he's just opted more for a taper.
Yeah.
At the neck and through the temple areas, put in this nice little additional little flare at the back, dropped the crown area here, kept the fringe nice and sort of in line, again, just a really well structured example of barbering.
I
on
think,
the top, or do you reckon it's
following
just-
off what you said, technicality-wise, his hair cutting skills, it's obvious that he knew exactly what he was doing, he knew exactly where he was going with it, and his structure was there. Texture-wise, I probably, myself personally, would have added maybe a bit more into it. I'm not a major fan of the super blunt fringe, but that's just because my eye is always thinking about how I can create movement and texture in hair in a slightly different way. But I do think it really suits him, and I do really think it suits this style that he's created.
Should we go pick a winner then?
Yeah,
let's
sure.
do it.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Next up, we're going to speak to Luke, Hannah and Jack and see how they think they did, what they could have improved on. And then myself, Kieran and Kem are going to go over the points and see who's going to go through to the next round.
So I went for an attempted hybrid of a heavy crop with a heavy mullet on the back. I think I was a little bit too chilled out in the beginning in my preparation. I was nervous as fuck before, but as soon as the headphones were on, I just got in the zone and I was probably too chilled. I went from one extreme to the other. So I had to improvise a few little bits. So I'd now probably call it a very short cropped fringe, a more of a freestyled mullet. That's what I'm gonna go with. I think even though in my mind there's things where you're gonna look back afterwards and think, oh, shit, I should have done this, I should have done that, but no, I am happy with it. Like, I do wish I had a little bit more time. There's things I would have changed. I'd have liked more time to style it, but overall, yeah, I'm happy. Like, I am just happy to be here. So yeah, all good.
Yeah, so I did a textured mullet on my model Cullen. Kept the length through the back, took a lot of weight out through the crown, kept it longer through the front, and instead of kind of wearing it down, I blow dried it and straightened it so it actually comes up at the front for something a little bit different. Yeah, I really enjoy doing it. I love doing like alternative kind of haircuts anyway, so I was in my element. Probably just spent a little bit more time styling, but overall, I think 45 minutes for me for that sort of thing was pretty bang on, so yeah.
So I did a little crop with a 2 on the back and sides and then a skin taper just to add that sort of modern, fresh look into it. And then I just added a little design through the nape just to, again, just bring a little bit more modern twist, something creative. And yeah, that's about it really. In the first minute, I cut my finger, as everyone probably saw with the bandages and that. But yeah, that threw me off. But other than that, I feel like everything went fine. I had like restricted movement with all the tape on my hand, but yeah, I just enjoyed listening to music and trimming really. So other than that, yeah.
What are you thinking?
I'm really torn, like especially once we got up there. My point system went out the window. In terms of technical ability and haircuts, I think they all did fantastic. I think all round Jack's was, I'd say Jack was I mean for me he's the clear winner. But that's not to say the other, so when I got up there I think they all did great. I was very surprised with Luke's. I would like to give him another shot.
Yeah.
But to see what else he could do, but also keep it in mind that it's it's a fair competition and timekeeping and it wasn't finished.
Yeah.
I think if you're judging stage by stage, which is what I've been trying to do, finish aside, I feel like I probably still need to keep my score the way it was for Luke.
Sure.
Even though I was super impressed with the end result, like really impressed with the end result, especially seeing as like I said, he's probably the only one that's taken the client's personal style into consideration when styling the hair or leaving like the little bits and stuff. Like she obviously loved it.
Yeah. It came back to that point I made earlier, which is you can be the most technically gifted haircutter in the world. If you cannot finish hair, it's not going to look good, right? Or you can be a not as good cutter, but you can finish hair really well, and he finished that hair really, really well. I'm not saying he's not a good cutter. What I'm trying to say is that we were watching him cut and thinking that maybe he didn't have as clear a direction of where he was going with that haircut as we had maybe thought. And then the end result ended up becoming
it
that.
was like you said, that he was
amazing.
just trying to figure it out, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was feeling it out.
The indiscrepancies we saw in his technique were actually him just trying to figure it out.
Where he's going, what he's doing. Should I do these verticals? Should I take this in? Should I leave it longer? Should I make it shorter? And then when he just clipped it, I was like, okay, he's going for
and
it.
I didn't
now.
see the overhang coming on the fade either. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Didn't see that.
I feel like.
But I'd have to agree with you.
Also, I'd like fantastic results. Luke did an incredible job, especially because I know he was nervous coming here. Went out of his comfort zone, smashed it, did a haircut he's not usually used to doing, a person he's not used to cutting. Hannah also did a fantastic job, stage presence, posture, fantastic. And the end result was great, something I just didn't imagine someone was going to do here. And while you know, I am semi-bored of crops and stuff like that, in terms of everything was scoring on today. Cleanliness of the sections, cleanliness of the work, posture, presentation, barbering technique, overall results and the styling, timekeeping. Jack for me was the...
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Yeah, I don't think any of us could turn around and say it. I think that these two are kind of unlucky that they was in this category with him. Because on another
should
day...
have been another mullet maybe, and it could have...
It would have
maybe...
Yeah.
But I don't know, I think still structurally, and like the first two categories, be it, you know, the techniques and the posture and all that kind of stuff, you still have to mark individually, and I think that's where the point system comes into place.
For sure. I mean, if we take everything into consideration, barbering technique, hairdressing technique, posture on the stage, all those things, he was clean to the absolute, like, he is the most technical I've ever seen.
I think if we take barbering technique and
So you say it?
I'm joking. I feel like I'm happy with how I've scored. If anything, I'll give Luke an extra point, but I still have Hannah and Jack at a tie. So it's up to you guys to...
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jack. He's scored highest for me.
I think
who do you think?
Oh, we've said it already.
I think I'm just thinking. I think Jack's took it for me, just because of how clean his haircut was. I think if Hannah's texture on top had been a little less weighty, I may have gone with her on you. But yeah, we'll go with Jack.
Let's tell them who won.
Okay.
And just like that, another round is over, and we have to pick one winner to go through to the next round. So thank you for coming down and competing and taking part of this little project I put together. I'll let the guys give you a little bit of feedback and we can go from there.
Cool, Luke.
Hello.
Well done, man.
Thank you.
For something that looked like it weren't going to go right, it went really right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for you. I think it was really good. I love the little accents you left at the front. I love the overhang on the fade that you did there. I think we were mistaking bad posture and sort of weird technique for maybe you just trying to figure out the haircut, which actually ended up coming together really well in the end. It's something that I feel like you also took inspiration from the client's personal style as well to actually create that cut. So it was really good, man. Well done.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, really good. Hannah, absolute top marks for styling.
Thank you.
I think you really sort of utilised all the tools that you're comfortable with to do that. This sort of bluntness that you left through here, which we thought you were going to soften, you obviously left on purpose.
Yeah.
And it just created like a pretty cool shape for a sort of mullet mohawky type thing that was going on. I think we agreed that maybe the texturizing could have been a little bit softer.
Right, okay.
It was quite blunt.
Yeah.
For something that was a real textured haircut. But overall, like a really good trim.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, bro.
Really well structured barbering, which is something that I can really appreciate, man. Like
Thanks,
it's
bro.
From all angles, from your taper to the little flare that you did in the neck, the sort of bluntness of the fringe, but the nice layering down into it. I think you really covered all angles there, man.
Thanks, bro.
There was no no stone left unturned, and you really handled that double crown really well at the back.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. Which is a struggle for most barbers, you know, and would also be really comfortable for your client to then style at home. So yeah, well done, man.
Thanks, man.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really feel I have to add much more to what Kem's just said. I think he really touched on it perfectly. Look for yourself. The only thing I would say is that maybe understanding how to section out hair and to work with it in a way that you know, right, I'm going to do this here, I'm going to do this here and this here, and knowing how to connect those dots all together will help you in this type of setting. What you did in a shop is fine, you know, and you can do that on a stage setting. You're going to give yourself a bit of a panic attack, and it's going to drop you back a little bit, and you're going to need a little bit more time in order to get through to the end result with the drying and stuff. And I feel like what was an absolutely phenomenal end result could have gone even more had you had that little bit more time if you knew your structure, because there was moments where you were kind of doing vertical sectioning and then you clippered and it was like, right, I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to do this. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, just in future, just try to structure things quicker, and that will make life much easier for you. There's not really much I can add to what Kem said, Tiana, other than just texturizing techniques. Maybe think about holding the hair lower.
Yeah.
And then when you deep parallel point cut into it, just try to maybe angle in different ways, and that will give you more random textures, and that will allow you to, when you're doing those types of styles, add a even stronger, diverse movement to the hair.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's all I'd say for that. And to be honest with you, Jack, your barbering side of things is, there's nothing for me to say other than it was great.
Thanks, bro.
I probably, from my personal point of view, just being from a hairdressing background and doing stage work, I probably would have added more product to your end result and enhanced my haircut even more.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, especially in this setting, because you're trying to make everyone look at it and be like, wow.
Okay, yeah.
And so adding product and really getting that texture to come out would have helped us even more look at it like, okay, this is amazing.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm
so
with you.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's all did incredible, and it was interesting because it was such a variation. And when we first looked at them, we were like, oh, 2 mullets, but they were so different, you know what I mean? And yeah, I think technically it all kind of come together at the end, and I think that's the funny thing about barbering, especially, like, you know, I could see you were getting a bit lost apart, and I do that too sometimes, but it's what the end result is what matters, do you know what I mean? So I think everyone can be really proud of themselves that they came here and competed, and especially because this is on camera. It's not a stage. It's not people's memories. This is filmed and it's going to be online. And I think, yeah, you should be all super proud of yourselves, and you're all incredibly talented, and that's what I want you to remember, like, going forward. It was another one of them rounds where it was like,
You're literally a mark away.
A mark away from each other, and you all did them fantastic. So, but the winner going through to the next round has to be one, and that is Jack.
Thanks. You guys did fantastic, by the way.
So I have these little gifts from the sponsor, STMNT.
Thank you.
That is for you, Hannah. That is for
Thanks,
you.
mate.
All right, well done.
Thanks, man.
And yeah. Thank you for coming down to our little barber competition, and we'll see you at the next round. Thank you, guys. With the third round over and only one more round before we get to the semi-finals, I just want to say a big thank you to our sponsor, STMNT Grooming Goods.